What is up, guys? This is Derek with the Walking Dead official podcast. I'm here with two awesome ass dudes that I have been waiting forever to finally get on here. So I'm so excited to have both of you. Cookie, thanks so much for being here, man. Huge fan of your stuff. I really appreciate you being here. Why don't you tell me why you're here, what we're going to talk about, and then introduce me to your friend here, man. I've looked at a little of your videos, but I'd love to chat with you some about that.
Yes, thank you for having me, Derek. So, we're basically doing a podcast. We're gonna be talking about The Walking Dead, and my friend G Vids. I've been trying to convince him to start the show, and so we gotta. I want to try and I brought him on here so we could, he has some questions, and we gotta hopefully convince him to watch the show and
God,
stuff.
I love that, man. I think
I need
I
to
can
start
see success.
watching.
Yes, sir.
I can see success in the near future, man. I really can because it's crazy. 2020, we're getting past 2020 into the last few episodes of The Walking Dead, and you haven't watched any? You've watched none?
That's
I've
crazy.
never seen it, like, ever.
That's
Okay,
crazy.
comic book, video game,
I
cell
have
have
phone.
the
played the
game.
game. I will say that.
The game's
But I
really
heard that's
good.
like completely different to the show, like
Yeah.
story-wise.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I don't think it always will be. Like, I genuinely still believe we'll see like some kind of like Clementine something in the future, whether it's a movie, TV show, whatever. I think we will see it, but as of right now, 100%. So, just I do want to ask you, just straight up here, and I don't know if you've thought about this or not, but like, what's keeping you from watching it right now? Like, what makes you not want to give it a try? That's what I need to know first.
Uh, I guess the main thing right now is like time, because I feel like I'm always like working on something. And then when I see like the how long each episode is, I get like kind of intimidated.
Yeah, I feel that.
I get it. I do understand it, and that's here. Let me just tell you this: The Walking Dead has eras, right? And that's what I like about it so much. It's not just 11 seasons that you have to watch from beginning to end to understand why we enjoy it so much. There is eras from season 1 to 2, season 3 to 5, season 6 to 8, and then season 9 to where we're at now. And I know people that have only watched certain eras of the show. Watched 32 episodes, 2 seasons. Season 4 and 5, season 3 and 4, whatever they feel like is best, and still really enjoyed it. So in watching it, I going into it, don't expect to have to watch all 11 seasons to find that kind of enjoyment in the show that Cookie and I have, because that's just,
Facts.
I was hooked by season 2, episode 1. By the time I watched that, I knew right then this is going to be my show. By the finale, I knew that it would be my favorite show ever, and I would watch it no matter what route it went. So it's early on, man, that hooks people in. And nowadays, like the long time Walking Dead fans, that's what they consider the best part, is what you would be starting with. So I get the time thing, but don't go into it thinking that it's this hefty task of like having to grind it out. It's not one of those animes that has 40 seasons that you have to watch all of it to understand. You
Yeah.
can watch the first couple seasons and get enough of a story right there to understand the legacy that the show's created. So I would say that if you get done to the second season, finish the episodes there, I think that's 19 episodes, I believe, 20. One of those two. It's not too much. But yeah, once you get through that, you've already got a good part of the story down there.
Yeah. And I was telling him he should watch the season 2 because he finds Shane super funny. I'm like, dude, like you're gonna love season 1 and 2 if you like Shane, and like you don't have to.
Yeah,
And if it's up to you if you want to keep watching after that.
that's what I kept hearing. So do you think I should start on like season 1? Because for like other shows, like for example, like Breaking Bad, I've had people tell me like, "Oh, start on a season 2, or like start on like this episode."
Mm.
So me personally, like I would want to start. I would tell you to start from the very beginning, like I would, because there is a lot that happens in that first season that's really entertaining. And some stuff that truthfully we never see again. However, I'm one of the few diehard Walking Dead fans that had season 1 as his least favorite season on his list. Like, it is my least favorite season. And the big reason is, and I don't know if you know this or not, but the show writer who took over The Walking Dead initially, he was fired before season 2 aired. So season 1, in a way, it's almost disconnected from the rest of the show,
That's
especially when
facts.
you watch it and understand it. Like, you can see the route they were wanting to go versus the route they ended up going. Thank God it happened, because we wouldn't have the masterpiece of a show we have now. But I would tell you, starting from season 2 episode 1, you could enjoy it just as much, not miss anything too crucial except for the stuff with Merle and whatnot, but you won't miss anything too crucial to the show. And you are only getting that one show writer, that only direction of The Walking Dead. You won't have that confusion because going into it, I think you will be confused if you watch season 1 and 2 and you see how different things are from that season. If you don't know that there was a show writer change mid season 1 and they had to completely scrap their original plans. So for that alone, I would say you could start on season 2 episode 1, but in total I think there's only two places that you can truthfully, or three places, I guess, that you can truthfully start the show from. Either one, episode 1, the, Days Gone By, the amazing premiere, season 2, episode 1, or season 9, episode 6 after the time skip. Those are the only three times that I really feel like you could start your entire Walking Dead experience and still really understand the dynamics of the show and how things work. So, I mean, 2-1 would be a good start for you, but I don't think it's 100% crucial to answer your question.
All right, awesome.
Yeah.
And I actually had no clue there was like a show writer change.
No, dude, that's the show writer change. Like, it's so annoying. I literally made a video saying like that walkers are getting smarter because like the variant and stuff. People were always like, "Oh, what about the first two episodes when they were like smashing the windows?" It's like that's because of the show writer. Like, and honestly, like you were saying, I'm glad they didn't take that route because that would have been like, I don't know. To be honest, I like the way how they've been getting smarter over time, or there's variants. That's a lot more cool, and there's so much more you can go in with that because you could have types that are just extremely smart. Like, who knows? I was hearing something that Daryl, I feel like he's gonna go up to some like crazy walkers, like whenever he's in France or whatever, like maybe some that could even run or just like stuff like that. So it's a lot cooler to me than just like all the walkers being like that, right? Because then it kind of defeats the purpose of a zombie or whatever, you know?
I totally agree, and I just really think, and I like the variant idea. I mean, I've talked about it a lot. I think it's a really good idea. I don't mind when they're bringing it in, and from a business perspective, I totally understand why they're bringing it in when they're bringing it in. Like, I really get it. But I just really think what's important is the delivery, right?
Yeah,
Because they can't just show up, right? And be like, oh, I've heard rumors about them, but never seen them. And then all of a sudden, these variants are a big issue, right? Because that's something
yeah,
that a lot of people that aren't big Walking Dead fans, that's one thing they hate about the show is inconsistency. And if you don't understand the show at a deep level, then things will come across inconsistent. That will be something that people look at as a cop out to try to make more money. And I really don't want The Walking Dead to go that route when right now we're at such a crucial time for the future of this franchise. We have all these spin-offs coming out that depend on this moment in this next episode tomorrow night to deliver, right? And I'm hoping they do it in a smart way, whether somebody introduces it, whatever. But I really think that the delivery is important, but it shouldn't be like season 1, to go back to what you were mentioning, because that would be the cop out for a lot of people. They need to clearly differentiate what these variants are versus the season 1 zombies, or ignore the season 1 zombies altogether. Just, it's a thing of the past, different show writers. If you don't understand it, you don't understand it. But differentiate it, make them different. And it looks like that's the route they're going to go. I hope
yeah.
so.
I really hope so too. And the thing with the variant walkers is, yeah, I was worried about that too. It's how they're gonna introduce them, and I hope they don't just like introduce it like, oh yeah, variant walkers, and it's just an episode of them fighting variant walkers, and then we like never really hear about it again. That'll be really disappointing to me. Or just like a sudden introduction, and all of a sudden they're all over the place because like that doesn't make sense if we just one episode they're fighting them now all of a sudden they're everywhere. There should be a reason as to why they're just finding out. Maybe they came from a certain region. Maybe they like, I don't know. Maybe when there's one of them from a certain place, it's able to, direct others. So that's probably how they got there. Like there should be a good story for how they didn't fight any variant walkers until now in wherever they are, because maybe because World Beyond there's already some in wherever that was, that's
France.
post credits France, yeah, that post credit scene was. So they need I'm a little worried about how they're gonna do that, but I hope
So
they can
here's
do it.
here real quick. Here's my theory on it, just real quick, and I'll try to say it without spoiling too much because I'm still confident you're gonna go watch it. So I'm still confident you're gonna check it out. So I won't spoil too much. But here's my theory. I think that the way that these new variants are going to be brought in is they're going to be weaponized. That's what I believe. I think that they're going to be put in by either CRM, Commonwealth, a large faction of some kind. I think they're going to be weaponized and they're going to be moved from France to the area where where they're at now in the Commonwealth. So I do think that that's really one of the only ways that you can explain it is they're weaponized or purposely brought over. They did say in the post-credit scene about there being two science groups, one's in Ohio, one's in France, potentially the one in Ohio did the same thing. Maybe they find the scientists. I don't know. There's just not a lot of ways for them to do that. So I'm hoping, really, really hoping that it's either like a weaponization or something that's brought in really organically and makes sense to the storyline.
Yeah, and I definitely agree. It should. I mean, I think it should be CRM related because we're getting a little close here to the final episodes, and if we're gonna, I think it's about time we hear something CRM related, and just I don't know if that's what the route that they're gonna take. We should be hearing it soon. I think with
Do
like
you
this.
feel more confident having watched the first two episodes of part three? Do you feel more confident that it's going to happen soon, or less confident now?
Uh, I don't know. I mean, the thing is, like, I was nervous about these last 8 episodes on how they were gonna, cram everything into one. And I think they're doing it really good, right? Like, I think it's still fast paced, but not the way I thought it was gonna be, if that makes sense. Like those
Mhm.
first 2 episodes, like that one scene of Daryl holding Rick's revolver, I thought that was gonna be something completely different. But when I watched the actual scene, it was just like it was literally just him and Judith talking, and like so I'm like, okay. So I don't know, but I think I think they're gonna do something really big. Like I feel like I'm underestimating it, and I think it's something really big is gonna happen on the last episode. It's gonna catch me totally off guard, and maybe that's their plan. They just want to catch people off guard because right now, I mean, what is it right now? What did we end off with? Oh well, I think G already knows about this, but that's fine. It's so far into the show, but it's about Sebastian, right? So we're kind of stuck because we still need the comic. Don't we need a comic? We need a we need a character to be killed by someone for a comic death to match it, right, or something like that.
So there's two that in theory one should have already happened and one still needs to happen. So spoiler for the comic books for both of you and for anybody watching, but the first big one is Dwight. Dwight is still
Yeah,
alive in the comics. He's the big one. His whole thing is he's staging a rebellion and he has to be killed by Rick, who was a friend of his. So a lot of people were theorizing that it was going to be Magna, Gabriel, some Ezekiel, somebody that was going to have to be killed by their friend. And then, of course, the big, big death, huge, huge, huge spoiler for the comic books, but Rick Grimes' comic death still needs to happen. Sebastian's out of the picture. And that's exactly why I feel way more confident now that we're going to see CRM stuff soon because it didn't feel rushed per se, but it does feel like the Commonwealth storyline is being hurried, right? And I think that if they are hurrying that storyline, something else has got to be at the finish line, right? And that's what really makes me think that they are going to put some more focus to it. And yes, it's only a few episodes, but you can tell a lot in an hour-long episode when you don't have all these other storylines going on.
yeah, no, and I was super caught off guard with Sebastian's death because, like, I'm not gonna lie, like, I don't read the comics, but I've heard that Sebastian does kill Rick, and so like I was just like I was so caught off guard. I'm like, wait, like this changes everything. Like I could tell they're definitely going a different route, and I guess yeah, no, I am really excited to see what they're gonna do. I just hope it's not like I hope it's not super underwhelming because I don't know, but I mean I don't think no, I'm excited for it. I mean, I think they
No,
can.
I mean, I got high hopes. I just,
Yeah,
like I said, I think about Game of Thrones, man. And I think about Game
yeah,
of Thrones and I'm like, do not let my favorite show of all time go down that way. That's all I
yeah.
want. Just don't let it go down that way. And then it will be a lot easier to make an argument as to why to watch it because it was hard for anybody to convince me to watch Game Thrones when I knew that the ending was trash. Right? And that's the one thing that everybody knows about Game of Thrones is the ending was trash. And I don't want people to think that about The Walking Dead. I don't know. I really don't want to see that happen to the show. It doesn't deserve it. And I know they're capable of writing a really good ending, but at the same time, a really good beginning for these new shows.
Mhm. Uh, so I if you're okay with this, I want to shift topics from The Walking Dead to I want to ask you about what do you think about Fear the Walking Dead season 8? What do you think it's like? Do you watch Fear the Walking Dead?
I do. I watch every season. I
Yeah.
watched. I've watched every season. I actually like just recorded a video because I've seen so much hate for Fear recently, and it just I don't get it. I understand like these few seasons are slower, but I made a video about this a while back. But I think it's time to pull the plug on it, to be honest with you. And it's not because I don't enjoy it. It's not because I haven't loved watching the seasons that have already aired, but it's because you're ending the main series, right? Fear's going into season 8 after season 7 was abysmal. Okay, so where do they go from here? You know, it's like one of those things where it may have already done it's done its job, and we're watching all these new shows, and I just don't know how Fear's going to have a chance to keep with them. I don't, and I don't want to see Fear fail completely. You know, I really don't. But I do love Fear, and I think that if they go the right route with season 8, it can be good. Season 6 was really good, so I know that their show writers are capable of giving us a good season, but they've dug themselves in a hole with this whole nuclear thing. You know, they wrote themselves into that hole. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm excited that Madison's back, and hopefully it makes for some really good television. I really hope so.
Yeah, and I was gonna say something. I'm trying to remember. Um, can't exact. Oh. And the thing is, what I'm really worried about the Walking Dead universe is what I feel like with the same thing you were saying, dug themselves in a hole. Like, this is what I also feel like they've done with the Walking Dead universe is it's kind of hard to go from here because so we got Fear the Walking Dead season 8. We got this whole new thing about Padre, right? Like that's like
Hmm.
something that's huge. Like they were that's where Morgan's kid was, that's where Madison was. That's like it it's just like a big thing. And we're around the same time. They're like what, 4 years into the apocalypse still. They are very behind. And so if Rick, so is it even possible for Morgan to make a return to the main show, or is it even like what's the point of Padre? Is it to give us Rick Grimes news? I don't know. Like there's got to be some sort of thing they're doing that it has to make sense. Otherwise, it's just gonna be a very like a bad season 8, and it's gonna look bad on the show, which kind of sucks because I really like that show. It has its
Hmm.
moments. I'm not gonna lie, it has some really good moments, and every time I post a YouTube video about it, they always do really good. And I think it's just a really overhated show, but
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely it is. I think that people really just want that nonstop action, and that's just not what Fear the Walking Dead is or ever will be, you know, and people want that. Some people with really simple viewing, desires, they don't like the way that Fear tells its story, and that's understandable to a certain degree. But I here's where I am with the Padre stuff to answer that, but that is gonna have to be they've got to tie it all together. Okay,
yeah,
that's what's going to make it watchable is they have to tie it all together. At this point, Padre has to be one of two things: a CRM base or the base for the group that Michonne found. One of those two. If not, then I am worried about them digging themselves into a hole
I
story
too.
wise. But if they do go the route of the CRM, if they do go with a group that's somehow integrated with the main show, then I would think that they could find a way down the line to bring Morgan into the main series, into one of the spin-off shows. I think they could do it. Is it necessary? That's up for you to decide, really. For me, like I said, I think they could pull the plug on Fear and just enjoy these new shows. I really would like for them to have that extra budget for these new shows, but it's hopefully they tell a good story and I can take that back. That's what I'm hoping for. But they all have to be integrated, or exactly what you said. I agree with it. So
Yeah, and that's also another thing that what you were saying about Michonne's group. Yeah, I remember she was on that ship. It looked like exactly the same as that one. And so
exactly,
yeah,
exactly
I
the
was like
same.
shocked. I didn't realize it until like I don't know if did you make a video about that or
I did,
yeah,
yeah,
I
I
saw it. I'm
did.
like, "Oh my gosh. I didn't realize that when watching the finale. I'm like, "Damn, that's like." So I mean, I hope it's something with that or CRM.
I hope. I'm hoping, man. A lot of people think it's just the same prop. They gotta know. I mean, these show writers can't be dumb. They
Yeah.
gotta know what the fans are gonna think. Like they gotta know that much. So no, I think so. And actually, I'm glad you brought up Fear the Walking Dead because it has been a topic lately that I've been trying to make more content about because I do want people to check that out. So it's even harder for somebody like G over here to
Yeah.
think, okay, I gotta watch all this main series, and then I got 8 seasons of Fear, 2 seasons of World Beyond, Tales of the Walking Dead. Like it's almost like getting into Marvel for me. I've had a really hard time getting into Marvel because I'm just overwhelmed. I don't know who the fuck Moon Knight, Iron Fist,
Yeah,
I
I
don't
could
know
never
who the
follow
fuck
that.
these people are. No clue. No clue. Never heard of them. Never seen a McDonald's toy of them. No
Yeah.
comic book. Nothing. Like I'm lost. So
Yeah.
I understand how scary it can be, or like how intimidating it can be to watch that much stuff. But like I said, there's when you think of all-time great shows, man, and gee, I had this written down because I wanted to tell you this. Like when I think about all-time great shows, there's an argument for shows like The Sopranos, Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones, The Walking Dead. These are shows that people debate about a lot, right? And I think you and I can agree on that. That those are some of the biggest shows out there. Prison Break, even people
Oh yeah.
love these shows. And I'm a big fan of a lot of them. They're all shows that have a pretty good amount of length to them. Most of them don't have a source material, right? The Walking Dead is following a source material, and that's why they've gone as long as they have. And people seem to forget that they are going on a comic book storyline. And the only reason that they have shifted off that is if an actor or actress leaves the show, and to keep things interesting for people that have read the comics and may be a little bit intimidated by knowing everything that's going to happen in the main show because you read the comic books. Why even watch it? So they have made small changes. The
Yeah.
Walking Dead has beaten all of those shows statistically, and people seem to forget that too because they say The Walking Dead fell off, whatever. There hasn't been a season of The Walking Dead that has aired that has not been the number one scripted television show at the time of airing. Never, not one time. Usually it's
Wow.
substantial. Usually it's a substantial 500,000 or more viewers that they're beating every other show in. And I like you can look it up. You can see season 10, which in my opinion is one of the slower, more unproductive seasons of the show. It's still during COVID and everything, when people were throwing their entire budget, like everything, into the seasons of the show, they still held it down. There's a reason why they have locked in that fan base, right? There's a reason why creators like me in less than a year are able to get to where we are just talking about this show. And Cookie and I are rare exceptions to that because that's our main source of content is The Walking Dead, and a lot of people venture into other shows. We talk about this stuff, and people want to hear more because the show has created such a fan base that just can't get enough, and they've done such a good job of leaving unanswered questions that are fans can look at and find their own theories about. There's so much to talk about when you're talking about The Walking Dead.
That's
You could talk
facts.
all day about it.
It's
And
insane.
other shows, what you see is what you get,
No,
and that's why
literally.
I'm not a big Breaking Bad fan
That's
for
what I'm
that
saying.
reason.
Like, yeah, you could talk about Breaking Bad all you want, but it's just the same. Like, there's so much to theorize about The Walking Dead, and I understand like people, people say this all the time, and I can't necessarily get mad at them. They're like, oh, it's just like they're dragging it with all these spin-offs. Sure, okay, whatever you think, I get it. It's intimidating, but as someone who actually really appreciates and likes the show, I'm not gonna lie. I think it's a little too much sometimes, but I still think it's really cool because they're not giving up on wrapping this story up. They're not giving up on people who still like the show. They don't care what people think about, like, oh, yeah, you're dragging it. And I'm not going to lie, I did not, well, I was not a big fan of Tales of the Walking Dead. I couldn't even watch, I didn't watch the last episode.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean, that was one that I think was pointless. But then again, at the same time, it's not because it's yeah, I guess it had cool cinematography and stuff, but I was not a fan of that. But I mean, I'm happy they're doing these spin-offs and stuff, even if it's a lot. Like they truly care about the people who still love the show and have their favorite characters, or people that are just getting into it and they want to see more.
Right, and
Yeah,
that
if anything, like it's crazy how much like the Walking Dead universe has like
Yeah,
kind of expanded.
it's
Because that's like
very
the one thing I keep hearing about the show.
universe is huge
There's so
now.
much lore.
And like it's crazy. I was saying how I think they like messed up with Fear being behind, but also at the same time they didn't because that makes it even more interesting that like how are they gonna give us this Padre story when we know it's like 6 years behind or 7 years behind what we see right now. So we know that it's not gonna affect anything that our main cast has seen. So what's gonna do like it I don't know. It's honestly making me really excited to think about. So I just hope they don't let us down with that. But yeah, I mean, I'm really excited for that. Not gonna lie.
Have some episodes in Fear, like also like reoccurred in The Walking Dead, because
Uh,
obviously they're in like the same universe.
no, and that's that's one of the things that I kind of didn't like is I wish they like showed some reference to the nukes in the main show, but
Mhm.
there wasn't anything because after the 6 year time jump, that's when it's done. You can't really, uh, you know, you can't really show any references from Fear because Fear's still very behind. It's still well, didn't I'm pretty sure Fear started or season 4 started when Morgan after season 8 episode 16. What happened to Negan? Didn't he just like leave
Yeah,
after that?
yeah. That's when Rick and Carol and Jesus all appeared on Fear the Walking Dead for a scene. They made a cameo, so
Yeah.
it was then. And in my opinion, that was like when the show changed. Fear
Oh
the
yeah.
Walking Dead changed completely from
I
that moment
felt
on.
that, and it was insane the change. I would I wouldn't say I was disappointed. It was, if anything, it's I like that The Walking Dead. It's one of those shows that's unforgiving. It's pretty unpredictable, and like a lot of shows are scared to do that. They're pretty scared to like, especially with the Negan introduction. They were pretty harsh and stuff, but it's like they're not scared to do that. That's what I've noticed with The Walking Dead. They don't care if like someone stops watching because of a character. So I think it was a little forced though, bringing Morgan onto the show, but I think it was a good decision now. I think he carries the show now, and I just hope that season eight's better. But I really miss Morgan in the main universe. I mean, in the main time. I just hope he doesn't die or something in season 8 of Fear. That'd be really sad because I really want to see him again. You know, with Rick.
Well, I like to look at it too, like something I always try to look at is the business perspective to their decisions, right? Because when you were talking about the lore and stuff like that, G, when you were saying that they've created their universe so much, like from a business perspective, you can't even make an argument that they're overstretching the show. If it's still number one on cable, why would you not release as much content as you possibly can and keep the story going? Like it only makes sense if this many people are watching your show and you are destroying every other show on your channel with this universe, why not make more of that universe? It only makes sense for now, right? Because as long as they're holding down that amount of viewers, it makes sense. For Fear, when Morgan came on, I think the big reason why that happened is because of the characters that needed to leave the show around that time. Going into season 4 and season 5, they knew that they had to bring in a new leader character with all the people leaving, right? I think that was the way that they decided to go, to try to keep Fear going at that point, because Fear season 3 is an absolute masterpiece, and they wanted to follow that up with another good season, and they didn't feel like they could do it without bringing somebody on because so many people were going to have to leave the show within the next year. And it's I don't like to think Morgan ruined the show. I don't think he ruined the show. I think season 6 of Fear is exceptional, and I think there's a lot of really interesting stuff there that Morgan takes part in. I just think he got handed a bad deck of cards there going into a
Yeah.
show that was coming off its peak, its best season ever, and the weird time jumps and stuff they were doing around that
Oh
time. It
my
was
God, I
it was not
hated
not
it,
good. It was not good.
bro.
It wasn't good for Morgan.
It was just like I remember watching the season 3 Fear finale. It was like Nick was like at the dam, like exploding, and next thing you know, they're just at this stadium, and but it's in the past, and it's like that. Whoever wrote that, I'm sorry, but that guy, I hope he's gone forever. Like that was the absolute worst way you could handle a finale and handle a new character being introduced and writing off characters like Nick. Like, oh my gosh, that was horrible, and that's why I can't say Morgan ruined the show because that was nothing to do with Morgan. That was just how they handled
Right.
Morgan's or time jump because he was
God,
ahead.
it was terrible. It was terrible, man. It,
Horrible,
it was.
horrible, and
It was.
it was just this. It was really whoever wrote that. Like I'm sure someone like my age could even write something better than that. Like I don't even know how you could think of that. It was. I still can't like get over that, but that's the thing. That's why I can't say Morgan. It's not Morgan's fault, right? Or it's not because let's be real, they probably asked like Lenny James. They probably just gave him an offer to do that, and so he took it, right? And so it's not his fault at the end of the day. And yeah, but one of the things I don't like about his character right now is what they did to him in like season 5, I think. Like, I don't,
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you remember a lot of the episodes of the show?
Oh yeah, everyone. Yeah.
Dude, so do you remember this episode? It was like he was like standing on a mine for like an hour trying to get into this
Oh yeah.
house.
Yep. Yep.
Like, I'm sorry, but it kind of fits Morgan's character in the sense that he's like kind of crazy and that he'll like do whatever it takes to either kill someone or save someone. But it just did not fit his character. Like, I'm sorry, like with all the videos they were making too, and like the Althea character, and like they were just filming. I'm sorry, I just did not like that arc at all. Like,
A lot of people didn't, man.
it
A
did
lot of
not fit
people didn't.
Morgan. It did not fit Morgan. I'm sorry because the thing is with Morgan, I could see him being someone who saves people, but more in the sense that it's like a obsession, like because he's like really obsessive. He's like either he clears, he kills, or he's just like he needs to with the he's with the stick. He's like saving everybody, and I like that. That's a really cool, complex
Mhm.
character, not just someone who like because he was really it didn't make sense the type of nice he was being saving people. He should have been a little more like obsessive about it. Like they should have made him a little more crazy about it because then it would fit his character a lot more. But and now his
Yeah,
character is
that
just kind of neutral. I think season 7.
that season just it took a weird turn. Season 5 of Fear took a really strange, like a different route than I ever would have thought they would go with that show. So
Yeah.
no, I wasn't a fan either of that, man. I wasn't a fan of a lot of the writing around that time. However, I also don't think it was completely as bad as people say it is. Like a lot of the big YouTube creators, and I don't know if you watch a lot of the big YouTube creators out there for The Walking Dead, but the ones that like they universally hate that season, like dreadfully hate it. And is it bad? Maybe. The big ass hot air balloon and shit. Yeah, yeah, some of that was just dreadful, but the storyline itself was interesting, and some of the characters that were on the show at that time kept it interesting for me. I really like Strand, and I loved Strand during that time on the show, especially. I like the way they did his character. Which I don't like him as a person, obviously, but I like him as a character. I think he's a good one for the show, and he's entertaining to watch. And I think the way they gone with him in season 7 was a smart route. But yeah, I think that made it redeemable a little bit, in my opinion, just a little bit.
No, yeah, honestly, Strand is like I can't express how much I love his character. It's something that like I've never really seen with a character before. Like he's been a main character since season 1 whenever he was in that whatever facility with like Nick and like at first I did not understand his character. It was so random. Like he was just gonna save Nick and like it was just so. But he's always been kind of like unpredictable. Like, but I'm not gonna lie. It's same with the season 5 arc of them saving. It did not fit Strand either because I know Strand is one of those guys that like kind of does anything to survive, kind of,
Oh yeah,
and that's been shown in like multiple seasons of the show, and it shows back in like season 2 and 3 when he had it like that. He had his, I think he had like a boyfriend, then like he would. I don't know if he was like not stealing money, but he was like using people for money. There was like flashbacks
yeah,
and stuff.
yeah.
So it just kind of showed that he's one of those guys that just like he'll do anything to get his way. So yeah, I mean that season 5 arc threw me off a little bit, but when I saw the season 6, like once he was like fighting against Morgan, and then season 7, I totally could see that being Strand, which made me love his character a lot more, and that's why I didn't hate season 7 as much as people do. To be honest, people say it's the worst season. For some reason I thought it was pretty decent. I just hated this one episode, season 7, episode 10, absolute worst one. I could not. I was so disgusted watching it. I don't know. Do you know
Yeah,
what episode that was?
you're talking about when wasn't it? Is that the one with Alicia mainly?
No, it's the one with Charlie and that Allie kid.
Oh yeah, that shit.
I
Because
was
knowing isn't it like the actor was
he's
like,
19 and the girl is 15, and like I was just disgusted. I could not watch it. Like,
yeah,
oh
that's
my god,
bad. Yeah,
that was one of the hardest episodes to ever watch. Like I was literally like not feeling good the entire time. But
that was rough, man. Yeah, that is rough.
I don't know what you
And
were thinking with that one.
yeah, me either, dude. That honestly, that was very uncomfortable, especially when you found out, and it's sad because a lot of people that were watching it probably didn't know that.
No, like I
Um,
literally like I was a little bit thrown off at first because the guy he looked old, but he also like sounded young. But then I searched up the actors for that episode. I'm like, no way they did this. Like it just I don't know. I don't know how they make these decisions sometimes with just like
like you could have casted anybody for that role too. Like you
uh,
cast that role specifically for that. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
you
because
could
that
have done something.
it was
Like
one episode. The guy was introduced and died in one episode, so you could have. pick something a little more appropriate or just like I don't know.
Anything, man. You didn't. I don't know. I don't like it either. But
Yeah.
you know, I have high hopes for season 8. I just right now my the what it all comes down to me, like going back to what we were talking about earlier, but it just really comes down to what they do at the end of the main series. I mean, the entire future of The Walking Dead lies on the back of The Walking Dead season 11. It all comes down to, are we going to get the CRM introduced? Are they going to do all this stuff smoothly? Are we going to get anything with Rick or any of that? Like, they have so many, I've made a few videos about it now, but there's so many opportunities to tie everything together, right? And I know I've talked about the PPP theory before on my channel multiple times. And you got Paris, you got Padre, you got Philadelphia where Rick was supposed to be. You have Portland. You have a lot of areas that you can make it all make sense now. You got your PPP card. These are the big CRM bases. Look, there's one in Paris, one's Padre, and one's Portland. And now our group has to go there. Daryl's going to one. And I don't know, man. There's so much they could do. So much they could do, but they just really got to bring it all together. And if they don't, I don't know. I don't know how Fear is going to pull it off after that. I hope they can. I really hope they can.
Yeah, and also I wanted to ask you, you know how they said that they're refilming the last scene of The Walking Dead?
Yeah.
So, um, what I remember is that the last episode wrapped up, I think, like April 2nd or something. And from what I remember, Andrew Lincoln was in Atlanta in like towards the end of February, right? And
Yeah.
so, but it was only for like 3 or 4. It was not a long time, just 4 to 5 days. It was very, very short. So it could have just very well been like a post-credit scene or just something like that. And so now that they're refilming it, and I heard you say that it's like it's Rick Grimes. So what do you think that February time was when Andrew Lincoln was there? Like, because I'm really confused as to because he wouldn't just go there to like see people film the last few episodes and not do anything. I mean, come on, everyone wants him back. You know, he's not just gonna be behind the set, be like, oh, nice job, guys. Like, so I'm curious to know what you think about that. Like,
So, honest answer here, I don't think the trip to Atlanta meant much. I don't. I think there's a possibility maybe they needed a picture of him or something really fast that they were going to give us in the end of the series. Maybe it was just him showing his face. Maybe it was him just opening his eyes or something really, really small like that. Now, the difference between then and now is you've got your contract polished up with Rick and Michonne, Andrew Lincoln, Denai Guerrera to do this spin-off show. And so now they are back in the Walking Dead universe, and now you really can bet on that. You don't have to make a post-credit scene or a reference without knowing for sure if it's ever going to get resolved, right? Because up until now, we didn't know for sure if we were ever going to see Rick again, right? Yes, we got rumored about the movies, and then we got no information about it as time went on, almost none, and people were losing hope. Now we have that promise of the new spin-off show, so now you can give us more in that post-credit scene or in the final scene of the show in general. So I don't know. I don't know. I did think initially that the trip to Atlanta was an opportunity to film a post-credit scene or something, but if it's the final ever scene of The Walking Dead, I still don't think they could film it in the amount of time he was there.
that's
But I
true.
mean, I don't know. I'm not into cinematography like that, but just for reference, I know the scene with Shane and Rick in the field. That scene alone was like a 2 week long endeavor to put together.
Really?
So, yeah, yeah. So that scene alone, granted a lot of times passed since then, but that was a 2 week endeavor. So
Huh.
how much can they give us for whatever else? And I actually learned that through somebody that I interviewed, but yeah, it was a 2 week endeavor to put that scene together. So to think about it, and it's not because it was a complicated film, it was because it was an important film, right? It was an important scene. There's nothing more important than the final scene of the show.
Yeah.
So doing a rushed post-credit scene, I don't know. I don't know if they would go that route or not. So my theory was that maybe they find a picture of Rick, maybe they find something like maybe they just like something that's really small that doesn't require much acting of any kind. That's what I was expecting from the Atlanta trip. Now, now I'm almost certain, man, we're gonna get we're gonna get a scene and we have to.
You know,
So
you know what I'm thinking? Because for how short he was in Atlanta, I think that it was probably to film a really quick post-credit scene, just him saying something. and then someone hears it, like who knows, maybe on a walkie-talkie, it's like, oh shit, it just ends, right? The show ends. But now that he's back, I think that's probably why they're refilming it. That makes a lot more sense actually.
I
And so
think so. I
and
think once they have the promise of him coming back, like once it's guaranteed, I
yeah.
think that now that they're more confident in giving us more, you know?
And I don't know if this is real or not, but apparently the cast for the last episode, it has Andrew Lincoln's stunt double in it. He's casted for it. And I don't know if that's real or not. That could be complete cap, but
I don't know.
I saw that
I don't
somewhere,
know.
but um
Hey, I want to count it out, man. At this point, I mean, the episode titles got leaked a long time ago, and everyone thought they were fake, and they
they
were
were
not
real.
fake.
And
There
that's the
was
thing.
also though leakers that were saying that Aaron was gonna die in the Part B finale, and that didn't happen. So you don't I don't know. I haven't been spoiled yet, and please Jesus, don't let me be spoiled for the finale. So I'm just like, please don't let it happen.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't mean to like I don't know if that was like a spoiler. It was just like it could have been completely fake though. I'm just
No, no, what you're saying, no, it's not a spoiler at all. I'm just saying, like, I make Walking Dead content, and recently there's been a lot of people that have seen my videos, and I can't believe someone hasn't tried to ruin it for me yet. I'm really surprised. That's
Yeah,
what
no,
I'm
that's the
trying
thing.
to.
The Walking Dead community, they're always like
The
really
Walking
cool.
Dead.
I'm not gonna lie.
No,
And
you can tell based on, and sorry to interrupt you, but
no, no,
you can tell based, and tell me if you agree with this, because a majority of my videos they average out around the 10K mark for views, right? And when they do, my comments are supportive and they're great and my fans are awesome and I love all of them. We talk positive about The Walking Dead. The past 2 days I've had two videos that hit a quarter million views each. Once they started getting up there on those views, that's when all the negative people were, oh, The Walking Mid, the show's still going. Oh my God, people
yeah.
still watching shit. Like it's always once you get outside of the diehard Walking Dead fans that people are just like haters for nothing. For no, I don't go hate on people that like shows for no reason. Like I don't get it, man. I don't get those people.
A
Yeah, and
lot of
that's
those
the
people
thing.
don't really have anything like better to do, to be
Yeah.
honest.
And
That's what I'm saying.
that's the thing. I hate when Breaking Bad fans really try to compare Walking Dead and Breaking Bad.
No, it's
I'm gonna
ridiculous.
keep it real with you, man. Like Walking Dead is better only because, or no, okay, I'm not even gonna say that, but it's just you can't say Breaking Bad is better when when it's only 5 seasons. Their purpose was to wrap it up after 5 seasons. They weren't following any like, it's of course statistically gonna do better when it's shorter. Like I mean, come on, the show's been going for 11 seasons and
Yeah.
like you can't compare that. Like I because as someone me who's watched Fear the Walking Dead and Walking Dead. I haven't watched World Beyond, but I watched entirety of Breaking Bad, and I've heard like, oh my god, it's gonna change your life. I still like The Walking Dead better. I don't know. It's like I think it's
Well, and think about the freedom you have when you don't have source material, too. People don't think about that. You know, The Walking Dead's done all of this while following a source material. The Breaking Bad could do whatever the hell they wanted to do and still don't feel like it's as intriguing as The Walking Dead is.
I totally agree with that.
And Better Call Saul is horrible. Like, I'm sorry, but it is. It's terrible.
Yeah,
It's
and
terrible.
that's another thing is like I don't know how everyone was like watching Better Call Saul. Like I just see all these clips. It's just I mean it's a prequel to the show. Like if anything, I don't know. Yeah, and I remember you were saying something about like the finale had like 2 million viewers or million viewers, and then Walking Dead's premiere had 3 million. It's just like I don't understand. Like so many people, like I hear all these people saying, "Oh, Better Call Saul's peak, Breaking Bad's peak," but it's like yet. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's just like I don't see it. I watched Breaking Bad. I still don't see it. It's just yes, it's a really good story, but there's a lot of plot holes. Same with The
A
Walking
lot.
Dead. Like, have you watched Breaking Bad?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've watched it all.
Yeah, there were so many plot holes like with the with how Walt poisoned that kid. We never saw that like and then like I don't know, people like say it's like literally the best show, amazing story, but there's a ton of plot holes and I was like really let down actually like and then I still think Walking Dead is the best show out of any show I've seen and like I was trying started Prison Break as well. I watched like the first 3 episodes. I think it's really good so far, but I
It
don't know.
is. I'm actually. It's funny you say that. I'm in the same boat, exact same. Like I'm just starting to really watch it. So like I'm on episode like 4, I think.
Yeah, and so but I still haven't seen a show that I could say is better than The Walking Dead, and I'm not just saying that like being biased, like literally, like Walking Dead, like I don't know, it's just such a unique story, and their universe, it's so complex and so cool. I just hope they don't, and it's very vital right now that they do it good.
It is. No,
Very.
it is. It's a big time right now, man. They've got to deliver. They have to. But I really think what the Walking Dead does right is off the top of my head, like out of those big shows we talked about, I can't tell you a handful maybe of moments from the Breaking Bad that are just iconic. That anybody you talk to is going to know what that scene was, when it happened, and remember where they were when they watched it. That's what great television does to you, right? The Walking Dead, I can't count on two hands the amount of moments that I feel that way. Right? Like I
Oh,
could go through so many moments, man. You got like look at the flowers, you got Too Far Gone, you got the Whisper introduction, you got the La lineup, the pipe. Like people know this stuff, man. And these that's an iconic show when you have iconic moments, and The Walking Dead just does it better in that regard, man. Period on it.
and that's the thing. Literally, I was just playing the season 5 episode 1. Just I was just like watching it, and then just one of my brother's friends is like, "Oh, dude, I remember seeing that scene like." And he's like, and then he saw like Glenn. He's like, "Oh wait, yeah, no, this guy doesn't die right here." He's like, they could just remember every specific detail because like they know the big Negan introduction. And that's one of the other things I want to say. And I don't know if this is something that like a lot of people don't believe, but I've had literally everything spoiled for me in The Walking Dead before I even started watching it. Same with Breaking Bad. And like it's kind of sad that I did have a lot of it spoiled for me. So that's kind of why I'm so excited for these last few episodes. Like I knew, and this is gonna sound crazy. I knew about Negan. I knew about what happens to Rick. I knew about how like that war arc ends. I knew about trying to think.
Did you know who the Pike victims?
Yes, I knew those even before.
That's the only one. That's the only one that I didn't get spoiled on.
Yeah,
The only one.
so and then the only thing I didn't get spoiled on is I knew that Gareth was gonna. I knew because I just it's so hard to avoid spoilers when like it's right in the title. It's like I literally saw it's like Walking Dead 5x3 Gareth brutal death scene. I'm like fuck, like there it is. Like so I
Come
saw,
on, yeah.
yeah, and then I see like Herschel, all that stuff, Governor, but I never knew why Gareth got killed, and so I was super caught off guard when I saw that Terminus was a cannibal place. That's the only thing I didn't get spoiled for me, and to this day I think it's the craziest thing. But it's not the craziest thing. I just think it's the craziest thing because I didn't have it spoiled for me, which just shows how like good the show really is. If I didn't have any of it spoiled for me, I'd probably be like a insanely diehard fan. Like you'd see me have posters everywhere. But it's just the fact that I have it all spoiled for
Yeah.
me, and I am a diehard fan. It's just like I've had the whole show spoiled for me, so that's why I'm so excited for these last 8 episodes and Fear the Walking Dead season 8. I know nothing about either one of them now. I feel like an
Right.
actual like fan, like who followed it. So I feel so
You
happy to be
know,
caught up.
when the Whisperers were introduced, I didn't know who or what the Whisperers were.
Yeah.
And that's why I love season 9 so much because same thing as you, I watched it and I was just blown away, man. I was blown away. And G, before we wrap up here, man, we've been talking about it this whole time. You see the passion there, man. Here's what I want you to do, okay? I just when you get time, because I know you're a busy man, all right? So when you get time, season 2, episode 1 and 2, maybe episode 1, 2, 3, 45 minutes each. Give them a try. If you don't, or if you want to start with season 1, if you don't start to connect with the characters and really enjoy yourself, get a hold of me and I'll find you a different place to start. Give it one more try and then we'll go from there. But I'm telling you, man, like the Walking Dead has filled a void in my life that I did not know I needed filled, and
Facts.
it is a whole different like experience from any television. And I watch a lot of television, and The Walking Dead is just in a league of its own. I don't compare it to any other show that I've watched or seen. And for me, I started watching it, there was no turning back, and a lot of people that I talk to, they're the same way. And if you can get hooked for 11 seasons off of a few episodes, that shows speaks for itself how legendary, man, that the legacy of The Walking Dead is. And it's a shame. It's a shame that it's ending. I'm glad they're doing it because it's time to start their own journey with The Walking Dead, a new show, different stories, different characters, or same characters but different stories that aren't the same as the comic books. put the comic book stuff to rest and let's start the real Walking Dead universe. And you do not want to miss out because it's going to be huge. So
Yeah,
this is the moment, man. This is your opportunity to get caught up and try this out, man. It really is.
All
facts.
right, I'm ready for it.
Yes, sir. Let's
Dude,
go.
yo, keep your word, man. Keep your word, and I'll mail you a shirt and everything.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'll mail you a
Yes.
shirt and everything. Well, guys, we are getting pretty long here, so I do want to say it's been great, absolutely great talking with both of you and Cookie. I really hope this isn't the last time we do something together, man, because I love talking with you. You're such a smart kid, and you really do a lot of great things for the Walking Dead community, man. And I know you're very humble. You don't give yourself credit, but I'm serious, man. Like you are the top guy for the Walking Dead. It is not me. It is not me on TikTok, brother. It is you. And there's people on TikTok that literally idolize you, man. And at your age, like you should be really, really proud of yourself, brother. Like I wish that I had the drive you have now when I was your age, man, for sure. Like definitely take some pride in that, man, and be proud of yourself because I love your stuff so much, man. Really, and a lot of people do.
Thank you so much, man. And I had so much fun talking with you, man. Like, you know, I could talk about this stuff for hours because, I had a lot of people invite me to podcasts. This is the only one that I really wanted to do because it's something I truly want to talk about. So I had a lot of fun doing this, man.
I
And
love it, man. I really would love to get with you after an episode like airs, like one of the new ones, and we can review it, talk about it.
yes,
Maybe
sir.
even the finale. Bring me, you, maybe Lucas or somebody else that's big in the Walking Dead creating world in, and just all of us big, all the TikTok guys get together, man, and
Yes,
talk about
yes.
that finale. I'd love to do that. So I'm
Same.
excited to work with you and G. Also, man, and your content's incredible, and the following you built is unbelievable to me. So keep pushing, man. Like
Thank
it's
you.
impressive. It's impressive, dude. And I really hope if you watch The Walking Dead, I really hope that you are just as blown away as we are. I'm very, very confident that you will have a new favorite show by the time you get into season 2, season 3, and you meet the governor, you meet Herschel, and everybody. Like, it just, I already see it now, man. I can. When you see the season 2 finale, you're not going to turn back anymore. There's no way.
Facts.
So with that being said, G, I think we got you in a good place. Cookie, we got you in a good place, man. So I want to tell all of you, thank you so much for being here today. Real quick, we can go around, tell all my followers where they can find you guys. I'm on Instagram, TikTok, everywhere else, YouTube, at The Walking Dedenne. Go follow me there. You can also email me, thewalkingdedenne at gmail.com if you have any suggestions or anything you want to talk about. Cookie,
So yeah, I'm Cookie King. I also got a Walking Dead account. It's Clash PR, and it's same thing on YouTube. If you guys want to see my Walking Dead stuff, it's on TikTok, YouTube, and yeah, I mean, I just post skits, and I also do Walking Dead content on Clash PR. So whatever you guys want to see. And G,
Yeah, my account's GVids. I'm on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, etc. For anyone watching this, it's probably quite different from the stuff you're used to watching, but eh,
hey, we
cool.
broke the trend, man. What can we say? We had to get you
yes,
on the Walking Dead
sir.
train for once. So go give these guys a follow if you follow me, guys. I really appreciate all of you being here. Hope you guys have an awesome night, and I will talk to you two soon. The rest of you, see you in the next one.